wearing my red glasses for a second to show you the difference. I have to keep these correct now because these ones are for reading with and these ones are for seeing distance with. But now I can't see what's in there, and it's better for me to do this anyway. And I've set it so that I can step back. I can only step back this far, get my shoes out of the way. I've only got so much room. There's a trap set behind me still. But I'm going to play whistle. I have food cooked. I've gone vegetarian, though I'm still on fish, and I had some salmon cooked, so I made some carbonara. Threw the salmon in, added some cream, some bay leaves, some basil, some chili, some evaporated milk, fish fluid extra, and then a whole bunch of frozen spinach I had. So I have a spinach and salmon thing that's all heated and ready to go. But I bought this today. Alright, this is a Watson. It's made in Ireland. It's pretty good. I had fun with it at the Port Moody station. I'm going to have fun with it right now. But it's funny about the GoPro I bought. So it's, the day after Boxing Day, it's hectic, it's a crowded counter at Metro Town, and Buddy opened the box and everything, right? So I get home here, I haven't opened it since I left there, and I open it, and okay, looking through everything, right? And I'm watching a video about how to use it, because it's complicated for an old brain like me. It's this little tiny thing with all these, do this, do this, do this. I have to work it all out. I got the app now for it. I have to learn how to use it, right? So anyways, there's no battery in the box, so he must have, it's on the counter at the store. And so anyways, by the time I figured this out, I tried calling the store. It was exactly 9 o'clock. They just closed. So I'm sure it's on the counter there. It'll be found the same as my other whistle. My good wooden one was my Hungarian thing that I need to learn the name of, that I bought in Budapest. And I'm going to buy a Clark yet. I'm going to have to go to Poco for it, unless there's one maybe in Mission. Maybe I'm going to look on Amazon and see what's around BC for Clark penny whistles. There must be Langley Abbey somewhere. I'd like to go to Mission, maybe. But yeah, anyway, so I got the whistle. So I'll shut up. I got some food to eat. I had a good day. And all kinds of things to say about the political world, but who cares about the political world when you can do this? And this is what I want to do. Probably the most versatile instrument I've ever had. I used to sit in Whistler Square. I was the Whistler. They wanted me to wear a funny little costume and play it at certain times. We never talked about the costume, but I just was not into being bottled. Like I've never been into being bottled, and I'm honored to have played this on the Great Altar at Delphi, and at Epidalos, and the Great Asclepion Coast, and around different parts of Greece, and I regret not playing it in Istanbul now, or in Lumpini Park in Bangkok, which I know well, I know Bangkok well. I was there to listen to music, not to play it really, It's an interesting musician. I heard around underneath the sky trains and in the traffic of Bangkok, all kinds of nice stuff. But anyways, I never did really play in Thailand. I never played these much, and my wind is gone. I tried to play them in St. John's. I didn't have the power I used to have in my lungs. Well, I'll get that back because I'm going to play on the altar again. I'm going to play at Karnak. I'm going to play at Ephesus. I've named the other places I want to play, but I'm going to get double-barreled Clarks. Maybe design my own penny whistle. Maybe buy a sax. I don't know, right? I can play, I think, almost anything if I put my mind to it, my own way, anyway. My electric guitar is very different from my piano. This is very different from either one, but this one I can take anywhere. This one I can talk to the animals with. Listen to the birds listen to me. They'll sing along with me when I sing my songs. They'll come and sing for a while afterwards, same as the coyotes will when I play this, Maybe the coyotes will play with me again. Who knows what else may play for me, you see? But I don't care. I've found my calling. This is my true purpose. J'ai dit beaucoup en anglais. J'ai fait une traduction à bas pour traduire aussi en espagnol. Amigos, escribirá traducciones, subtítulos antes. Ya, yo toca, yo no sé, porque flota, es whistle, es un whistle, flagula. Toca. Take your breath. So it's still recording, but it's going to stop soon. I'm running out of battery and I'll have to recharge it before I continue, but my darling, I've got a nice one now, and I'll have the wooden one back. I'll have also a small harmonica as well as the big one. I was looking at accordions today. I was looking at saxophones. I was looking at all the nice things I'd like to have, just to be able to make more music with, right? I know all the tools I need to use. Everything else is just fixing me up, helping me out. Anything else I might be asking for, a place to live, all that stuff. But this, to be able to have more instruments and be able to play all day for the rest of my life and just make music up on the spot, because that's all that was just now. Although that last thing was about sailing the western seas and finding the way to the yonder seas through the northwest passage at the end there, I was singing, and about the exile of the pagans from the ruin of Germania after Charlemagne ruined it, So this is kind of like, Celtic, Nordic, westward migration to get away from the conversion. Yeah, it did happen. It did happen. Only in small numbers, but people came. And there's evidence of them here and there and here and there. Stories and different stories and some of the sagas and some other things I know, which I shouldn't disclose too much about. But, there is evidence. There's a logic to it. There's a reason. There's signs of it. Clear evidence. Amongst other things I've mentioned in other vlogs. I'm having a good time with that. Play more music. It's precious. From Drogheda Halls, that's called. From there, and I want to go to Donegal, I want to go to Sligo, I want to see the Carangus, in Galway. I'm Irish on 1/8, I'm as much Irish as I am French and Norse, And even my Norse is Norman, it's from Picardy, so probably ultimately also Norse. Yeah, I'm a North Sea person, from that people, but I know about the westward migrations from the times of the conversions. I feel them. I understand that they happen. And that's about Ireland, that one there. That's like me wanting to go to France. That song is me wanting to go to Drogheda, right? And I want to stand on the hill of Tara and play, on Croagh Patrick, I want to go to these places and play my whistle and, this is who I am. This is what I've always wanted to do my whole life. Everything else has been just biding time, trying to survive. But please help me survive just so I can do this. Buy more instruments. I have orchestras that I can want to write for, music that I want to write for orchestra. I have songs I want to sing, things inside me that are yet to be said, things I'm seeing. So it's crazy man talk, yeah, but craziness is where the creation comes from. That you're not connected to the rational blocks saying you have to be this, you have to be that, here's this box, you have to fit this way, Ooh, it's hard for a giant, okay? It's hard for a giant. Michael the Giant's like a serious terminology for myself. I'm going to play more music, but that's Michael the Giant, right? That's Michael Alfred is my middle name. I might use Michael Alfred, maybe. We can talk about my names. I don't care. I love playing my music. I'm so glad I bought this today, and I got the GoPro, but the funny part about Boxing Day is everybody gets Christmas gifts. Well, I bought one for myself, and there's no battery in the box, but it's at the store. I'm fine. And they'll replace it anyway. I have the receipt. Everything's fine. But it's all Sisyphus climbing the mountain. Things roll down, but the process you make this get a little bit more. I'm doing more. I'm going video. I realize the future of the world is in this medium here. Print, for the things I know it's here. But the things I really know here, this I never recorded my best on the halls of Corinth or at Delphi or in Olympia or Kos. But my best playing for the dead of Rhodes, up on the walls. these are special experiences you just don't get every day. So there's other places in the world I'd like to go, including parts of what I was playing were for Norway. Things I'd like to see. If I'll only see Rogaland, I've not seen Sørland, where I have also roots, and Iceland, where I have family, which I'd like to find. A few centuries ago, but see where the sagas that my family were part of were. Yeah, sure, why not? Anyway. Like all the gods and the wild. They're all the same. All people should be one. All people should be one. The revolution in France is telling us that if we all are one, that the rich can't continue to steal from everybody else, so we might have half a chance of saving most of us. Most? I don't know what most of us means at this point. Things coming into history that you don't want to have to know about. I'm going to set this up so I can continue recording and just plug in the battery and make it lower. It just occurred to me I should do that. So I will continue talking for half a second here as we set that up. And I'll have to tilt the camera differently. But we will be able to continue this. So because it's important that I'm trying to communicate everything that I'm saying here. I like what's going on here because I've discovered that I can communicate things here that people that have the patience to listen to long videos can say, okay, so I hope I've kept your interest while I fix my power problem here. Unless it's already ended upstairs. Yeah, upstairs meaning above me, because I'm down, crouched down in a horse stance. Okay, I've got to bring this down quite a bit. Almost all the way, pretty much. Let's see here. Plug it in. Plug that in again. Don't plug that too hard. I have to edit this part out, won't I? Yeah, I'll just cut some of this out. I've got to learn to use cut. Okay. Okay, got the battery low warning, it's gone again now. How about if I got for visibility now here for this? Alright, enough to play. I don't have to go far here. Cut that up a bit maybe. Take a swig of water. So, I buy a piece of technology, and right away I have a technology problem. It's like I have this long-standing thing with technology. It's taken years for me to get videos, all kinds of horror stories, including the one in Newfoundland, but that's not the only one. Or people I know who have video who said they'd send it, they never do. Oh well, one day they'll send it, yeah. If they hadn't deleted it. One guy I know deleted it by accident, or had to, with his phone, and I've lost stuff, data lost, you know. It doesn't matter what you did. It matters what you're going to do, what I'm going to play, what I'm going to sing. What I've got to say about the world and the poetry that says poetry, they call it inside me. Poetry means creation. That's all it means. Being a poet means a creator. The poets, Euripides, Aeschylus, you know, these guys were like the Broadway guys of their days, like Rodgers and Hammerstein. Everybody knew their songs. Their songs, these little big, long, you know, stories with famous lines, you know. Anyways, but all of that stuff, Pindar, Homer, it was all sung. Written on the page, no, that's something that came, that's an affectation of the age of print. It came after the printed book. Even in Roman times, if you learned Homer, you learned it orally mostly. It wasn't written. And if you learned Livy or Ovid or any of that stuff, the Roman philosophers and poets, you learned it orally. And written too, yeah, I wish I learned Latin. More interested in Greek though. I met a Greek driver tonight on the bus. Yeah, Corinth, like to live in Corinth maybe. Delphi, yes, to study, to play, to perform. Maybe to do more than just play whistle. That's why I'm going to send these recordings I'm making, edited to Delphi and say I'd like to come back, please. You know, I'd like to maybe for the Festival of Ancient Tragedy next summer, maybe they, from that end, they can say, sir, please come back, you know. Oh, Apollo, hear me, you know. And I've been doing a variation on my stretching routine as an incorporation of, what was originally I do a physical thing that I do that's to straighten myself up, how I do it, what it's about. I'm going to do a separate video of that. I'm going to play more music now because we're plugged in and rolling. At how many minutes? It says 19, so I've only not played that much. You see? See, amazing how time. I felt I played like a long time there for a long time. A lot of those notes. I was in like another time. Is different when you're playing. You're in another plane and another dimension. It's hard to explain to people who aren't experiencing it. I had somebody trying to tell me that they knew more about music than I did, and they were just a DJ who'd never played an original note in their life. I've heard people not even hear a word of I say that a sound, hear a note that I've played and criticize me for something, Craziness, this world it is. It's friction, the whole thing. Doris Lessing calls it shikasta, which means grief. And it's in the Cosmos, it's quarantine in her book of that novel. Of that, there's a sequel to it too, Marriage of Levels 3, 4, and 5 or something. 3, 5, and 7 something. Anyways, read lots of science fiction, too much perhaps, but I've read a lot. I've read probably, not just in that history, all kinds of things, assimilated so much, But the only thing that really can express anything is music. Of all that I've known, in my 63 years now, and every pain, every loss I've known, I know what is the core and what is the soul of the world, right? Is that your organism is in tune with music. It's meant to live with music for people like me anyway. And for those that can't hear it, and I'm in a country where people want to hear recorded music that they've heard. Oh, can you play me something I know? Or if you're going to get work in a bar playing music, you got to know top 40, and you got to be able to play something people want. You don't want to have to think, right? So I can't help that. I'm a serious poet. I just happen to learn to play guitar. But this, yeah, I can play it anywhere in the world, and I do. I want to play it everywhere in the world. This and the things I don't have. There's a Clark and my wooden syrinx, which I'll have back soon. The Clark, which I'll have by the new year. I'm going to take a plunge. I'm going to get a data account. I'm going to get a new phone account. Really try and generate income by being online better with everything that I have now, because now I need to make a go of everything, and that's playing music, doing history, talking politics, and I'm going to talk a lot of politics. There's a lot of serious politics in the world. It's hard to be a serious, sensitive person and not be able to speak about it. And they tell, oh, you're just an artist, you should just play music. Oh yeah, really, huh? So you're just an arms dealer, so you should be the only ones talking to the politicians, is that right? You're a banker. You're the only ones who should be talking to the politicians, right? So why aren't there more creative people in politics? The Nanaimo by-election, I don't know about Ms. Here's the Green Party, but I said to the Green Party today, you get the young people out, you get the new people out, you try and get the Snuneymuxw, or the local native people who normally won't vote because, well, maybe they know the Snuneymuxw, they do have a treaty. It's a different situation in Nanaimo. They do have a treaty. They're one of the Douglas treaties. It just occurred to me they are. So there is like grounds for a relationship with the Crown, but they need to vote 5 to 6, and that riding maybe 7-8% of the vote. I don't know. The demographics, the population demography of British Columbia is a critical subject. It needs further study. I'd do a doctorate in it if there was a point in me trying to have people who didn't know the material I knew judge what I had to say by saying, oh, well, you haven't footnoted it properly, or well, what about this disputing opinion by so-and-so? Why don't you address that? Why? Because I don't take on evil. I don't take on lies. I say, don't give me falsities to try and counteract. Anyway, there's reasons I just didn't get a degree. But I may yet, because of my music. I'm going to try and finish by me using composition and musicology, including musical aesthetics on the music thing. This might be a long-range project. I also have an incomplete Bachelor of General Studies at SFU, and I've done lots of geography, upper-level geography, more than history, but it's all historical geography, and geopolitics is all of that. Cultural geography, musicology is also history, and I got into classics. And not just Norse classics, but global classics. Global classics, that's my field in humanities, is global classics. Norse, Hindu, whatever I can learn of anywhere else, Inca, Aztec, anything around here, Slatlam, learn what languages I can. In that sense, I'm a philologist. So it's going to be a degree in geopolitics and philology, something like that. I call megapolitics. I now mean like everything geopolitics, geoeconomics, historical geography, all of them at once. I'm going to play music now. And shut up. I'm going to tell myself to shut up, Mike. Shut up, Mike. All this other intellectual stuff, I'd rather it not have to matter to me, but there's so much of it inside me, I'm compelled to share it, to want to share it. But I also need to play the music. That's why I set this up before my dinner, because I bought this today. And yeah, there's great power in these little things, because it's your breath. It's your, like opera, you're singing with your breath, you see. And I, yeah, to call up high tunes on this, I'm going to do some right now. More water, Mike. Well, I'm going to stop that and maybe run Facebook Live for a bit.